Yeah, welcome back, Dion. How was Egypt?
It was good, but the flight back was a little bit crazy at the Frankfurt airport. We had to wait in lines for hours and hours. It was just unbelievable, but we made it through, and I'm glad to be
You
back.
mean like security checks in Frankfurt?
Yeah, it was just this longest line
Yeah,
to go through security just to get
yeah,
just to get to a different gate.
yeah. We're hearing, the same news that happening ongoing in US. Craziness at airports, overbookings, all that stuff. It's coming to Europe now very quick.
hmm But yeah, I'm back now in Sarasota and ready to dive in. So looks like we have a good number of people here. And today, Volker, we wanted to talk about ideas for the WealthLab website, right?
Yep, that's the plan. So let me start sharing the screen and here we go.
And while Volker's sharing, I mean, just some background about the impetus for this session back in, I don't know how many of you were around, around WealthLab back when we started back in the year 2000. We started with the WealthLab website even before there was any kind of desktop version of WealthLab. We had the website, and we had some interesting capabilities on the website. So, we were just thinking of maybe looking back and seeing what we had back then at that time, what we might reintroduce, what we might change on the current website to kind of get back to some of that level of interactivity and interesting features that we had on the website. It was a good complement to the desktop version of WealthLab because we had people pretty active creating strategies. We were ranking the strategies so we could see which ones were working. Then people would riff off of the effective strategies and create variations. So yeah, we had some good momentum going there. And I don't know, Volker, if you want to show kind of the website how it was back in the beginning.
Yeah, what was it? Wayback
Yeah,
Machine.
let's take a look at the early incarnation of the website.
Yeah, and I must admit, we actually, well, the site didn't exist in this year's Dion, did it? No.
Sorry, what was that?
The site did not exist in 96 because it goes back until 96.
If there's anything in 96, I'll be astonished.
Yeah, which one did we look at this just when we prepared a little bit for this meeting?
Well, the first snapshot they have, I think if you scroll down, it's in one of those bottom months.
Oh, yeah. Was it November or December?
November 9th is the first one that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the one we looked at, I think. So I don't know whether you know this Wayback Machine. That's really interesting. It gives you all the old web pages. And this was basically one of the first, well, that was the first website, right, Dion, or pretty much?
Yeah, this was the first wealthlab.com.
Yeah, and you see there was a lot of interesting stuff on it. And yeah, a lot of interaction at that time. And WealthLab was probably the first one who had basically what some others are doing now. WealthLab was the first one until we got bought by Fidelity. I'm not saying it's unfortunate, but it was definitely a good time. But then this all changed a little bit.
That was in 2004.
Yeah, that was in 2004. You can see that here. And Right. Yeah, that's
So a couple of the major things we used to do on the website is like I said, we ranked the strategy. So on the bottom there, you can see we did it for 3 different kind of, indices, the Dow, the NASDAQ 100, and then at the time there was this internet stock index. So I think every week or so we would run rankings on the strategies that we used to call them chart scripts. So we would run these rankings on the chart scripts that people published on the website and, show the results. So this was kind of an interesting thing to look at, I think.
It's a little bit like Wealth Signals, except that all these strategies were for free and they were basically an example. We looked at 1, 2, 3, 4 strategy, but I actually want to see the volume search. Well, some links might not work, so let's quickly take a look. I think it was Delphi at that time, right, Dion?
It was Pascal based, yeah. It was a Pascal based scripting language back in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, this Wayback even has, you can click on different sites, like this one here has the code for this strategy, which is actually quite amazing. So you could actually use it. And I think, Dion, I think if you would have put in a symbol here, we haven't done that. I want to give it a try, right?
I'm sure it won't work.
It won't work. Okay,
no,
then we don't do it.
Because it's not actually calling our, the engine that we used to have. These are just snapshot pages. So yeah, you could try it, but it'll just come back with like some kind of page that says it's not found.
Yeah, no, I don't want to try it then, because then I might get a hiccup somewhere. So
I mean, we do have on the current website. Maybe Volker, you want to switch to the current WealthLab and show the strategy builder. It's kind of the analog that we have now. We have a web-based strategy builder where you can build strategies using the building blocks.
Did you guys know that, actually? Did you all know that? Those who have video on, you can basically...
I'm sorry, I got a text message I'm responding to.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, Volker, thanks. How do you select the data set to run in this environment?
Here, it's basically it's pretty limited, right? Well, it was actually limited way back then. Wait a second. Over here, I think we had it limited to the Dow 30, the NASDAQ 100, and the ISDX.
No, actually, here you were able to create your own kind of data set.
Can we create a data set of 2 symbols in the Dow, for example?
Yeah, let me clarify, Volker. Quickly, let's go back to the old website, and under the left menu there, see watch lists. This is where you would create your own kind of data sets. In the new web builder, we've restricted it currently only to a couple of kind of canned data sets, the Dow 30 and I think a 60-minute crypto data set. Can you go back to the new web builder on the new website?
Yeah.
And let's look at what you can do. So you can only select only the crypto and the Dow 30. So that's one thing. The data sets here are much more limited currently. So if we want to get back to kind of what we had before, we might want to open up this and let people create their own data sets again, possibly.
Yeah. I mean, it is basically the same as we have on WealthLab. I think there's definitely less conditions, but it is kind of the same thing you can do online. So that's
but I think it's very powerful in 2022 because the power of tablets make this solution now a portable solution for, a tablet, right? In the absence of an Android or an Apple version, right? Of WealthLab.
Yeah, you
So
can't
on
run
the go,
WealthLab
you could
on your
easily
tablet.
kind of, test a couple of ideas. So I find it very powerful, provided it gets a little bit of flexibility around, what data you really want to work with and so on.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and the money management only has a couple of, obviously we want people to buy it, the software, but it could easily turn into something that you can use, as you said, anywhere. And I think you can actually create some really good strategies with this, but you need more data and all these things. Yeah, absolutely. But that's...
And is there a feature to offload it onto your PC in a way that your WealthLab can pick it up and run the building blocks on your PC?
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't have that currently. So we don't have
but that would be maybe an idea so that you can do some work on the go and then finish it at home or whatever.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea. I mean, basically doing it both ways, from the desktop to your, or actually maybe even saving all your strategies on the web would be a good idea, and vice versa.
Yeah, and maybe a subset of your data sets as well that you generally work with.
Yeah, could be. So yeah, Dion, you wanted to say something just now?
No, I was just agreeing that, I mean, you can't run WealthLab 8 on any kind of tablet, of course. So this is a good solution for people who want that capability.
Yeah, and it's pretty. There won't be many changes in it, so it's but it is limited at the moment. But I think it would be a good idea to unlimit it and give it more power. And I mean, here you can save it and you can actually publish it. You know that you can publish it and then it will. Oops, where is it? After you publish it, it should be on our website under strategies.
Yep,
yeah.
Those are the published strategies.
So we haven't had many publications lately, but you can then look at it and say, okay, what did this guy do here? I can open it and see his ideas. And I think it even comes with all the settings, and I can run it and should work. Yeah, not a good strategy, but it was even I always say even a bad strategy is a good strategy, because it's very often you look at something, you look at the last 3 years and you think, wow, great, this works, and then you might have just picked up this place here right at the bottom and it went up, but then you get to see the whole picture, and then you at least know when you don't put all your money into this baby. So it has a similar actually metrics report like we have on Wealth Signals. So you get a lot of information here, and I always like the monthly returns because that's where the money comes in or out. So I think that the whole setup is really nice. You can get your signals, and you can see your positions. So this is all pretty nicely designed. It just would need more features, and obviously it would be great then to have signals and trade them, but that's the next story. So you guys, you can talk, you can tell us things, and
I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is optimization. If I were designing my own strategy, that seems to be a big CPU burner, and to try to do that online seems maybe something that could not be done or not done effectively.
Or you burn someone else's CPU, right?
I wouldn't mind, but you know, you're the host.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like
Uh,
Volker said too, there are certain things that, we would probably prefer to keep on the desktop platform, and optimization is, at least in the short term, one of them. I mean, like you were saying, Len, it's a pretty CPU intensive, and I don't think we could, at least in the short term, get that going on a web basis.
Yeah, we would
Probably
need
not, at least in the next couple of years.
a couple more servers around the world to
to me, you know, I still like particle swarm optimization. I had one written for WealthLab 6, you know, but I actually moved it forward for myself. I didn't republish it though in 7, because that just saves so many iterations, you know, versus exhaustive. And you know, anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a thousand ways.
That to me is the key to reducing CPU usage, is not faster and faster CPUs and you know, using the video board and all of that stuff. That to me is not the solution. The solution is a smarter optimizer that doesn't need that many iterations to come up with a fairly good solution. You bury it with exhaustive, and all you're really doing is overfitting, in my opinion.
Yeah, overfitting is a bad thing. And we actually had a meeting in Frankfurt, and we had Dr. Koch there, and Michael was there. And Dr. Koch is also very much into optimization, you know that probably.
Right.
And yeah, he had some interesting ideas, but they all go beyond my capacity to say it. But definitely there is some value behind it. And yeah, and I don't think this will, as Dion said, this is not in the near future. In the near future would rather be, you know, opening up more markets, and yeah, that would be probably the first and easiest one.
So what about adding code-based strategies to our web-based strategy builder?
I mean, that would be in the spirit of doing some testing on the go, right? I mean, really kind of replacing your desktop or whatever to allowing. I mean, why would you do web-based strategy testing from home, right? From your ordinary desktop, when you have your desktop that gives you probably better performance. So you probably want to do this on the go, or in, you know, in places where you're just not using your desktop, or maybe in parallel. But
Well, yeah, back in the beginning, when I first created the website, that was the idea, because if I was traveling, I had these trading systems I was running, and I wanted to still run my trading systems if I was in another country. So this would allow me to do that, and it did allow me to do that.
So code-based portable solution, that would be exactly as valuable. I mean, very valuable, same as building blocks. And as Len mentioned, I mean, this is like more for an operation, right?
Well, yeah, I think the kind of the risk with a code-based strategy is, of course, you know, people writing malicious code. So that's something we would have to be very careful about. I mean, we would need to kind of screen out probably certain, you know, things that like the IO library or things like that. I mean, I think it could be contained in such a way to make it possible. I don't think one person writing like a malicious strategy, you know, maybe that tries to, you know, create an infinite sized array, or, you know, or list or something like that. It would blow up, you know, like one of the, you know, kind of one of the web servers, you know, pool of processes that, you know, that is running this, but I don't think it would shut down the whole website. But of course, it's something, you know, we need to seriously look at if we think about putting, allowing code-based strategies again, because now we're in a .NET environment that you could do a lot more with a strategy now, a code-based strategy, than you could back in this old Pascal scripted version.
What about, would this be supported by a virtual machine type environment? And I'm not technical enough, to understand what's behind, right?
Well, right. We would need to think about those kind of things and come up with some kind of solution that would be safe enough to introduce these kind of code-based strategies again into WealthLab. But if we're able to do it, I think the benefit would be pretty great, because I think, like you can see, we had a lot of collaboration and a lot of people working with each other and generating interesting ideas, because the possibilities were there with code-based. I think the building blocks is a bit too limited to foster a lot of that.
I don't whether you all see it, but Adrian actually just wrote that Quant Connect has it in terms of running strategies on the cloud in a container.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's Python based.
Yeah. So just want to mention that here.
Yeah.
But anyone is free to speak here. It's not an exclusive. So Adrian or whoever is there, Roderick.
Well, yeah, jump in, guys. I think, in my feeling, I think opening up the markets, allowing you to create your own lists of stocks or symbols that you want to test with, and bringing back the code-based, and then ranking them in some way like we used to do.
Yeah, it seems to put a lot on you to even do it, even the way it is today in terms of data and things like that. Somebody wants symbols, you have to find the source for them, as opposed to, they've set up their own providers and they know that their symbols are covered by their providers. You're open in a way to, well, okay, I can't get this, specific symbol that I want to tune a strategy for. So you're taking that on. The optimization is not really possible in the. I don't know. I have difficulty really seeing the true value to the online strategies at all, for those reasons, really. Can I use it? Can I get to it every day? Are things going to change? Because that's been another of my issues with WealthLab 7 and 8 is, for WealthLab 7 it was pretty much a release a week, and there were changes that definitely affected the power users. Didn't affect me so much, but it's harder and harder to keep up with WealthLab and the user interface to it. I don't know.
Well, I think the value of the strategies probably isn't as much in being able to, whether or not you can optimize it, or, of course, doing it on the desktop is more powerful, but yeah, you need to keep up with the changes. Hopefully now we're at a state where we won't have as many kind of major changes that will disrupt, but, we're still going to keep releases with new things added, but we're really going to make an effort not to disrupt things as much as possible. But I think the value of the online is more of a collaboration, almost like a social media aspect, where people will look at, they'll go to the rankings to see, okay, which strategies are now, working, let me get some ideas off of that. Let me put my twist on this top, strategy, and see if it makes it more effective. You get kind of that dynamic, more of a group think, at least. That's what I saw back in the old days of WealthLab.
I would agree, that this can create some very good, social environment for between newcomers and more experienced users, right? Bring everyone up to speed.
Yeah.
And learn from each other, etc.
I mean, we could maybe.
I have a very quick question. Is the meeting mainly about this web-based solution today?
Well, the idea, yeah, the meeting topic is our website and what, what could we do to improve it, create more engagement. I mean, yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's basically, this is, I mean, obviously this was the landing page. It is more active. There was more updates, and but on top, we must say there was a huge community for those who've been around long enough. They do know it, and I think the market is even bigger now. I mean, at least there's more competition nowadays, and we will definitely, I think it's definitely a good way to move forward. I thought I would have never said it 15, 20 years ago when Fidelity came into the game. They actually said they remember Leon Franklin was saying, oh, everything online, but that was probably 10 years too early. But I think there's a good point in having a lot of things online. I mean, you just mentioned data. If you have it online, there's just one data source. You don't have to worry. Where do I get it from? Either we have it or we don't have it.
Well, I mean, look at TradingView. I mean, that's what they do, right?
Yeah. They have everything, and I don't know all these new products in detail, but they definitely have a lot of data.
But I mean, yet they don't have something like optimization, which would be a big burden on their servers for sure.
Well, optimization, just a simple optimization. Then we have walk forward optimization. Then we have expanding windows, sliding windows, all these things. I think my honest opinion is that I think, yes, having stuff online is good, but I still think there will be, I want to have my desktop. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see the website as possibly, something to create some community and, excitement, and maybe we could have things like a contest or something, whoever creates the most effective published strategy for, like a certain, maybe like a mystery data set that we create. And, we could do interesting things like that to kind of create more engagement and some excitement.
I would agree.
Volker, you're on mute, maybe?
Yeah, I was on mute, yeah. So what do you all think? For those who don't speak, but you can type, what do you think? Do you think it would be good to have more data, more data sets?
We've got Marcel here. Let's see what he thinks, because Marcel is our main website developer. So he may, kind of have some ideas about all of these things that, we're just kind of throwing out there.
I can only give some technical input, so I'm not sure what the community wants.
Okay, what's your technical input?
No, I mean, from the technical point of view, everything is possible. Even running the optimization in some cloud container is possible, but it's a big setup and probably causes or has some costs attached, and it's another discussion, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, we kind of said, at least for now, optimization is off the table, so we don't have to worry about that part. What do you think about code-based strategies? I mean, definitely some possible challenges there.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly how you said. We would need to find a way how we let the user not. I mean, there are some technical procedures you can do. Like if you run it in your own container, then whatever he damaged, it would only affect him, right? So, but that's a setup we do not have at the moment, and it would be a big change. Other ways to block some kind of code. I'm not sure how you want to do it. That we would need to talk about again, I guess. Yeah. But
Yeah.
in general, I think executing code is a great idea.
Yeah, and believe it or not, back in the old days here, we never really, I guess we were fortunate, we never really had anyone trying to go the malicious route with any of these old chart scripts here in the old WealthLab. So
Yep. Nobody was, they were only good guys. Not like today. Two-factor authentication with a fingerprint and a eye, whatever stuff. Yeah.
so the other thing we did have back then is this kind of market calls game. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So
You're gonna open it.
You could actually, we gave everybody like a little, kind of portfolio, a little, value that we called the WL worth. So I think we started everybody with $10,000, dollars, and then you could make trades. Basically, you could buy and sell, whatever symbols you wanted to at any point, and we kind of tracked the changes, and then we calculated everybody's portfolio value, and then we parts of it were interesting. You could then see like the symbols that people were trading most often, and get some metrics about those. So then you could
Just
see
like-
everybody's value. We could rank the members and see who was doing best, and things like that.
An observation I'll say, and I'm a 9-year user, is that I know very little about how others are doing, what their performance is. That has not been visible, and people don't tend to share that. And I'm not sure how open people are to sharing how is my strategy performing. In some ways, because I might look bad, I might be the worst guy in the group, and I didn't know it until now. I don't know.
The vehicle for that is Wealth Signals right now. So it's
right.
The other website where, I have a handful of strategies on there. Volker has a few, and a lot of our other members have some. So that's where, some strategies are being tracked, and, the performance is public.
Right.
You see this one here? Oh, that's Wealth Signals. I guess you all know it. But before we go to Wealth Signals, I actually wanted to say something. So here's your first coin, right? WL worth. That was the first coin. That's like
that was the first crypto, even before Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. It was the first crypto. It was called WL worth. So that was the first thing I wanted to say. And I wanted to say something else, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so the market calls was interesting. I know what I wanted to say. I think down here at the page, we actually show market call trades. So we actually, you could see basically what people were buying. And I think some broker published that too nowadays.
So yeah, sure. This market call commentary, that was actually basically what TradingView is now. You would, here you could, type or put in your signal, a chart, indicators, and, publish your idea, what TradingView kind of calls ideas. We had in these market call commentaries, like back in 2001. Of course, you can't see the chart now because this is the Wayback Machine, so the chart isn't visible. But here you would have your chart and your commentary. So yeah, this was kind of the precursor to that TradingView idea.
Interesting. Look at this. I mean, Gary Lynn, it rings a bell with me. I think he was pretty active. And he got his signals from trading solutions.
Mm.
And yeah, and the market calls were something like
Yeah, Gary Lynn, I think, was the creator of Trading Solutions, and yeah, he was using WealthLab at the time.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's basically, that was the market call kind of thing. I also think it would be what Dion just mentioned here is, no, that's not the one I wanted to show. I wanted to show you guys, well, signals, where we basically, and I think it's still free. At one time it cost some money to publish strategies, but you can basically publish a strategy here and let it run. And it's actually good because, first of all, you get to see how you have to place the orders every day. And it only works on end of day data, I have to say. But also what it does is you get a more realistic, if you have a limit strategy, you get a more realistic execution, because in the background, we basically have the data running, and when your limit is hit one way or the other, or a stop is hit, it executes the one that is first, unless the market drops 10% all at once and doesn't know which one to take. But the same problems is what brokers have. So, but so this is actually quite interesting, because it gives you an idea of the problems you would see if you would place it with a broker. And like Len, you just said, it might give you an idea how you're doing compared to others. So
right, I actually had a wealth signal strategy 10 years ago, no, 10, something like that.
No, not that far. No, I don't.
7, 8 years ago, anyway.
And
well, it just the experience was fine, but again, I can find out the same thing on my desktop without going through all that. And again, it's back to the point of, I don't know what's good or bad. And yes, Wealth Signals is a good source for that, in terms of comparing, where am I, 1 year, 3 year, whatever, because I'm, a swing trader really. So it's kind of like, so I'm interested in 1 year, 3 year performance versus me, kind of thing, or 90 days even.
Yeah,
so those are all good things for me.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. And this one actually I covered in my latest video, because, one thing I always say, and let me go back here, is a good thing about Wealth Signals, and, there's competitors out there. But if I trade a strategy, and I take Dion's here, if I trade a strategy, in other websites, they don't have the backtested results. Here we do have the backtested results, and we can basically see, does it continue doing what it did in the past? I mean, that's
Absolutely.
a perfect out of sample run. Does it continue?
Yeah, that vertical dotted line is the line when the strategy was published. So everything to the right of that is out of sample.
Right.
And there's no faking, obviously. There's no, you have to place the orders before the market opens, and then they will be executed. There could be sometimes that if you have a limit system that you would have bought this stock or that stock, milliseconds, but that's the same in your real life. That's happens with your broker too. You don't get that trade. Why didn't I get that trade? And so you basically get all these numbers. And I find it very interesting that it's actually, that you can see that. And another great thing about WealthLab is actually the survivorship bias data. I mean, that's just mind blowing. But that's something I like. And then you could basically, if you had a strategy, you could let it run or continue. But it's every day placing the order, getting up, and stuff like this might not be fun if you don't get any reward for it. So but that's and here's the oldest one I want to show you. Actually, this one got a credit because it was published on our old website 100 years ago in 2004. So, and since it is so simple, we said, okay, it was published in 2004 on the old website. We just take it, and you know what it is, right? Everyone knows what it is. It's buy on new moon and sell on full moon or something.
Mm.
Well,
and it has
click the description. It should describe it there.
Just look at the moon based on Fund Timer. Yeah, I remember Fund Timer. Published in December. See, here it is. Buys at market on the day of full moon and sells at market on the day of new moon. Hey, how easy can it get? I don't put my money on that one, but it's the same like sell in May, go away. Something like this. God,
well, it's leveraging some kind of seasonality, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, look at the performance. Pretty good, huh? Yeah, yearly. Nice, huh? So, and I think it's just using an index, if I'm not mistaken. The Q. So there's no survivorship or anything like this. Anyway, so what do you guys? At one point I was thinking maybe integrating that part into the website would be maybe a possibility, but then it might make the website too blown, because there's a lot of things going on. But so what do you guys think? What would be the first thing that would make this website hotter than hot?
Oh, in some ways I would like, categories within the website, data acquisition, whatever being that, strategy.
You mean in the
development.
discussion forum?
In the discussion, rather than just have a discussion forum that gets, that's 1,000 categories deep. To me, that's a big weakness that's always been there, is the documentation through the website, okay, or the fact that you count on people to look through the website to find answers to things. The particular post, they're not a thread is not pure, and there's some really useful nuggets sometimes found inside a post, and I have to remember where I found that, or write it down in my own way. And I can't particularly think of an example offhand, but very often I've been looking at a post, I'm looking for something, and in there is oh, by the way, and here's a link to something that it might even be in the documentation, but to me, the documentation, and again, the community as the documentation place where, being able to at least, search by full text is better than before. But it's hard to find exactly what I'm looking for, because it depends on whether somebody had a problem with that, somebody had a feature request on that. But to me, it's like, this is, if I have to go there for information, it's difficult.
Did you like the old WealthLab 6 wiki approach?
Probably a little bit better, because that was organized, had a table of contents, and that sort of thing. And the table of contents got me to, maybe it was more information than I needed, but it wasn't all the information in the world. The current website, I don't know, outside of, like you said, with doing the full text search, I don't know how to find, I can't begin to guess what people used as titles, to their posts. I just, that's very difficult. Yeah.
I mean,
very easy to miss stuff.
Eugene usually even retitles many of them to give them better titles. But
But you can't really control the content inside, although he does some of that too. I see it all the time, where he takes some side thread or side topic that got introduced here and says, I'm going to make this its own topic, and puts that stuff there. And that's good.
I don't know whether you're active on Elite Trader or something where it basically has the categories. I think that's where I mean, and the old website did had categories too. So, but we have one voice here. What do the others think? And let me see where you can even write to me if you feel like you have an opinion about it. Marcel is definitely one generation below us. So he's a younger guy. So he has and we might think, oh, you know, I want my categories back. But then, interestingly enough, I think our average, the highest number of people registering on our website are between 28 and 35 or something. But the people I see here look slightly older, slightly.
Yeah, I hate to say it, you can devalue my opinions because, you know, I have not renewed and actually don't plan to renew. I've, you know, been a WealthLab user for a while. I expected more people contributing on here, you know, on this particular forum that you started. And, you know, that's not really true. I'm one of the few users here. And like I said, I'm pretty much getting out of trading this way. It's more effort. I'm 75 now. I'm tired of chasing. I've been coding since 1966. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm about done. And because I have my other tools that, you know, that I always use and that actually complement this, I'll get suggestions out of my strategies, and I will actually, you know, plug those symbols into other tools that I use, and some home written, you know, because I started doing this back in the 90s, you know. But anyway, so
I'm not, you know, and I'm you know, anyone's opinion is valuable, you know, and I wasn't even, you know, I'm not saying whether you, you know, I was just saying that, you know, it might be a generation thing. So, but that's, you know, and I'm clicking on general now, and I was just hoping that some other people spell out. Nope, I don't get any written opinions here. Yeah, so that is basically that's how it used to be. I mean, obviously, this is 25 years ago. 22
Yeah, and
years.
Marcel, feel free to grab any of these old icons, you know, to put into the new website.
I think the categories could be a bit more, you know,
Can't wait.
current, right? Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff being discussed, even covered in webinars, etc. You know, like the evolvers, like the strategy monitor type, auto trade environments, etc. I think those are the more, if you like, modern categories that I would like to see, because, you know, based on what WealthLab 8 has to offer, right? Which is way beyond of what it was at that time, right?
Maybe,
so,
yeah, maybe we need a new wiki. What do you think?
I liked Wiki. I did. Same as Len. I mean, it was a well-structured place. I could find things.
Maybe we should have Eugene start working on a new wiki for WealthLab this generation.
And then take the new topics. I mean, just go by the 6 or 7 webinars, which list basically those important topics, right?
So you basically say, hey, let's have a topic for this 100,000 tools that we have, or extensions, which are actually great. I'm totally amazed. And I wish I could get Marcel to participate. I'm not sure whether you can hear me.
Yeah, I mean, Volker, you've covered the major topics in the last 7 webinars, right?
Well,
whether it's, you know, money management, whether it's evolver, whether it's, you know, this or that, right? Auto trade. I mean, and so when people have issues, I think if someone in the team can kind of make sure those forum entries end up in the right category, right? So that then people can find more easily. I think there should be a category on competition, based on the idea suggested earlier, right? Let's have a competition on, market call or whatever else. I mean, and that will prompt interest, right, to go into that part of the categories. So there could be a nice list of 7 or 8 or 9 to begin with, and then people can leave it open for people to suggest new categories.
Yeah, and I think maybe Marcel was unmute just now. What I wanted to say, yeah.
I'm here. What do you want?
No, your opinion. We talk about
opinion about. I mean, yeah. I mean, we can have a new wiki. I don't know what to say.
About the wiki, and I'm not, and I'm not an expert, but I don't, there's a lot of, people can find our wiki quite easy on the web because there's a lot of old stuff and there's good information, but it doesn't really helps WealthLab to improve the Google ranking. And I'm not sure whether this could be changed so that it basically goes in both ways, so that we have the wiki and and improve our ranking. Because in the wiki there's so much information, people find it, and but it doesn't help us because it's called different. I don't know. I don't know the reason.
If we create a new wiki, that'll solve that problem.
I think even the old one was not doing that. But
if we create a new wiki, we'll need to, from the ground up, we'll need to make sure that it'll properly enhance our SEO, or these things that
Can you port the stuff from the old wiki into the new wiki? Because a lot of times I'll find myself, okay, so I'm a new user. I've been using WealthLab for like less than a month, and I'll go search something and it'll send me to, I think, what's the old wiki, and I have to sign in to see code or something like that.
Yeah.
So can you even do like I don't know what it's called as far as SEO, but like a alias or a redirect to, or maybe port over all the stuff from the old wiki into the new wiki?
Yeah, I think once we get a new wiki going, we'll probably want to, go into the old wiki and, where appropriate, direct people to the content on the new wiki.
I think the discussion board, I've been using it a ton, is it's good. I could find the answers, and everyone on there is, super helpful and supportive. And, I've been getting all my issues solved. And I think Len mentioned it. You might have to do a little digging, but, I bookmark stuff that I know I'm going to come across or need later. And with the full text indexing, you could get or full text searching, you could kind of get, close enough to whatever you're looking for. But one thing I do struggle with is the documentation, right? Because unless you know exactly what you're looking for, then it's going to be tough, right? Like, so yesterday, I was trying to work on something that needed to get history of a different symbol. And there's get history, but it's, kind of there under 2 different namespaces, right? There's get history under host, and then get history under strategy base, right? So unless you know where to look, you're not going to find it. So maybe having like a search feature in the actual documentation. I think that's helpful for new users. And that's just me from like a new user perspective, stuff that I've come across.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, all valuable points. I mean, that's the reason why we got together here to get a valuable information. Even Len, if you're 75 and you decided not to work anymore on the computer,
Yeah.
So, but understandable. You should enjoy your trading and not try to.
Not this year. I haven't been enjoying it. I'm sorry.
Wait. Let me show you.
I need a better market.
Anyone can be good in a good market. Yeah,
Right.
this is interesting. Yeah,
Hey, Take a look at the 1% a week system.
Okay.
That's something that Dion is trading.
It's one of the.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
one of my strategies. Yeah, I have my trading, and we were talking about maybe Volker. You know, we were saying maybe we'll start a new series where we approach like trading my account as if we're trading a fund, kind of, and we could show the processes and different ideas. I mean, right now I'm trading a meta strategy of 5 strategies, and one of them is the 1% a week. So it could be something we do in the future, kind of show how, I'm using WealthLab to do my own trading, and, as if we were trading a fund basically, and kind of showing the results and coming up with other ideas. I know Robert is big on options, so maybe, throwing in some options trading into it and see how that does. So that's something we're considering starting to produce too.
Yeah, I mean, this year obviously was should be.
Are people subscribing to these strategies? Can you see how many subscribers each strategy has? Is this like, are people actually using these?
This one,
or just any one of these wealth signals?
Yeah, we don't publish that because people don't like to publish that information. This is.
It would give. I mean, if the goal is to get more people to subscribe to them, it would give confidence knowing that other people are actually subscribing to them.
If too many people subscribe, then it's like too many people betting on the same horse. So if everyone bets on the same horse, then it's not good either. And it's
also just interesting to know if people actually like. I don't know if I would kind of blindly trade a published system. I know that was like, for example, that was Quantopian's model, right? For people to publish systems, and they kind of create a fund out of it.
Right.
They didn't end up faring too well.
And then shortly after that, their chief financial officer resigned, and then shortly after that, they basically shut down. Yeah. So their fund, apparently didn't do too well.
Didn't cut it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think and I think they had 200 million of external investment or whatever. Give it tens of that to me, and I think one of their big problem was that they were actually trying to get they were very much focusing on intraday trading. And I'm not, I know a couple of people who are successful, but I'm not really a big fan of it.
Like even today, I ran the opening range breakout live from the sample. I made a couple of tweaks to it, and I ran it live on my TD Ameritrade account intraday, and everything seemed to go well. I mean, it went well today. So there's definitely.
Yeah, so you're saying you do trade intraday, or
what?
I do. Yeah, I ran the opening range breakout today across 50 symbols. And
what scale?
1 minute on the 30-minute opening range breakout.
Wow.
Oh, didn't we talk about opening range breakout just now, Dion? Yeah. Because the 1% system that Dion trades, and I think Dion, you published the.
Well, it's a sample strategy that comes with WealthLab. Yeah, it just trades TQQQ on daily data. The only thing that it does do differently is it uses the Monday's market open to determine the entry price. So you have to observe the market open, and then it tries to go in 1% below that Monday's open price. And it's been performing really great. And I actually exited the position today because TQQQ was going up, and I don't want to risk, losing that profit in this kind of market. So I just exited it early today. So we'll see how that goes. It was probably the wrong call. It'll probably keep going up, but at least I got to lock in some profit on that.
And that makes Dion very calm for that meeting. Because that, yeah.
Can I just mention one more thing on the topic that we initially started from in regards to being able to kind of either develop or run strategies online? I think that's kind of the future, or not necessarily, it's now, right? You look at any of these other platforms, they're kind of all on the cloud. And I think to just, I don't know if I should be naming all these competitors, but Quant Connect, I think, does a really good job of that. They have like this whole CLI where you can, develop locally and then push to the cloud, and then you pay when you're backtesting or you're optimizing in the cloud, you pay for the the compute resources you're using. So that's kind of another model for and I found that workflow to be pretty nice.
Yeah, we have no problems in mentioning other products. WealthLab is still the best.
I've worked I've worked with kind of all of them. I come from most of my strategies were on TradingView and NinjaTrader, and I've been porting them over to WealthLab because WealthLab does have the most extensive, back testing and optimizing, and even some of the extensions as far as what was it, the pattern evolver and patterns profiles or indicator profiler, and then being able to set kind of your money management strategies and backtest those. None of these other platforms have those. So WealthLab definitely takes the cake in most of the categories. I just feel like sometimes the workflow is a little cumbersome.
I think the best feature, in my opinion, the best feature is the price grid. I don't know whether
the price grid. That's what I was like.
I think that's just an amazing feature. I think that's face recognition on the market. Oh, I've seen that before. What does it do? I think it's going up, but hey, let's test it first.
Yeah, the goal of WealthLab is to give you a great toolbox to do back testing and try to figure out the secrets of the market. So thanks, Adrian. I'm glad we're doing a good job there. And yeah, we'll continue to try to improve the workflow. We're always working hard to improve things, hopefully not in such a disruptive manner that we lose more customers than Len, but we'll do our best. And I think, we're kind of coming to the end of the hour, but I think we got a lot of great feedback out of this, particularly, maybe we'll create another, kind of resurrect the wiki concept. Let's look at that and let's, look at maybe opening up the strategy builder web version data sets and maybe allow code-based strategies again and see if we can get some rankings and kind of some of those old features back.
Yep. So,
and I would only caution to not adopt every new request that comes along, and not just from my experience as an application designer.
No, believe me, we've declined a good number of them. So we won't.
But implementing stuff after the fact that just makes the original pure design have this little glitch and that little glitch, and then Microsoft says, "Oh, by the way, we're moving up a revision. You got to change everything you did," and now you have this huge code base. Just my observation. That's all.
Definitely.
Thank you. So,
thank you for setting up this session.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like to involve the community so that we grow faster and stronger.
Okay, so we'll set up another one soon, right, Volker?
Yep, we'll set up another one soon. I'm not sure whether we do the same thing here like we did today, because this was a brainstorming thing for the website. We covered a little bit of the wealth signals part, and obviously the strategy builder. I think that was quite interesting. And I think the next webinar will be about a different topic, a feature maybe that you can use on WealthLab direct. And
yeah, we'll switch it up. We'll do, kind of some of the old style webinars, and every once in a while we'll do one of these brainstorms.
So great.
Thanks,
everybody.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
For coming. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.